Hello and welcome to this fourth video on intermediate checkmate patterns here on chess.com. I am FIDE Master Ingvar Johannesson from Iceland, and I will be demonstrating these mates as before. On this one we will be covering a mate called the Arabian Mate, and like in the last one we will only cover one mating pattern in this video. This one and also the smaller mate covered in the previous video. Those are pretty common mates for a big family, so to say. So I think we'll need a whole video for these, and for the less common ones we'll have, 2, 3, maybe 4 per video. Let's see. Anyhow, on to the show. This is the Arabian Mate, and it's called so because, well, it derives its name from where the game of chess originated in the world, and before the pieces moved like they do today, they had different rules. But the rook and the knight and the king have kept the way they move throughout history, and therefore this is the oldest chronicled or oldest known checkmating pattern, therefore called the Arabian Mate, which is delivered here with rook to h7. Rook can be on the 7th, it can also be on the g file, and the knight is very important because it blocks the king. If you look at this from another angle, now the rook is on the g file, and since the king is in the corner, this is basically the same checkmate as in the previous diagram, and we'll see that we need the knight on f6 because it covers the important g8 and h7 squares, and basically a rook on the 7th or on the g file, as highlighted here, will cover the remaining flat square of the king, g7, and therefore with this piece set up, either the rook on the 7th or on the g file, the king is stuck in the corner, and therefore we only need to move it into check to make checkmate. So this rook on the 7th is very strong. I'll demonstrate that with a fabricated endgame position. And when you know this pattern, you will realize that having a rook on the 7th can be very strong against the king in the corner. In this position, white is down material. Black is about to queen his pawn on b file, but after knight f6, there's absolutely nothing that black can do to prevent the mate. You can do whatever. Let's make a random move, and rook h7 will be checkmate. So knowing this can be very important and strong in the endgame, and could save you some points. And if we tweak this position a little bit, move it a move back, and even then, the threat of putting the knight on f6 is extremely strong. However, if black is alert, he can save himself. If he moves the b pawn, we'll just have the same position as we just had before. But actually, black can save himself here with king g8. But being this much material down, we can force a perpetual check like this, and then just rook d7. And it doesn't matter what black does, we have this perpetual check. So this is sort of an extra pattern for you to combine with the rook on the 7, knight on f6. Now, of course, black has to go back to f8. If he goes to the corner, we have our Arabian Mate. And this rook on the 7th combined with the knight can be extremely strong. And this example is taken from a game between Miguel Ilescas Cordoba with white against the extremely strong and well-known knight to the short, and this game is about to become short for Mr. Short. Queen takes e6. Simply threatening knight on f7, and this is completely over. The presence of the rook on the 7th means that we can even allow black to promote the check. He exchanges, but again, powerful position of the knight along with the rook means that there is nothing to be done against the threat of the rook to h7 mate. A picturesque final position. Well, actually not the final position because Short allowed to make here. He played b6, rook h7 mate. But this domination is nice to see. White only has a piece for the queen, but that piece is decisive in the mating attack. So, usually we see this mate arrive through some sort of a sacrifice. Like in this case, we have bishop on g7, which is defending against check on f6. However, after the very simple rook to f8, we can't deliver the Arabian Mate because the bishop has to take, and now knight f6. The bishop covers the flight square on f8, so the king has to go to the corner. And now we have a pure Arabian Mate. This is pretty similar, although from another angle. The strong grandmaster from, well, he's living in Switzerland at the moment, but originally from the UK, Joseph Gallagher. He finished the job here with king to h6, a nice and pretty move to play. And note that White would only need one rook on the 7th here, because whichever way the bishop captures on h6 or f6, we will deliver mate on h7. Pretty nice. Here we have another example from the black set. The defender is removed. We could say the pawn on g2 is pinned. If it moved to g2, sorry, to g3 or g4, black would play rook h2 mate. Black used this fact to deliver the death blow here. Queen takes h3 check, and White resigns. He can only take on h3, but then rook h2 mate follows. Here another example of removing the defender. This is actually from my own game. Unfortunately, this was a missed chance. I won this game, but had I played rook g3, a move earlier, I would have had this chance to finish the game very nicely here with queen takes h6. Black has nothing but pawn takes, and now knight takes f7 forces rook takes f7, and we have set up the familiar Arabian Mate. Arabian, or you probably can't say Arabic Mate, but Arabian or Arabic, I don't know the difference really. Moving on, further example, this time a demonstration by Mikhail Krasenkov, Polish Grandmaster. Here White basically has everything pointed at the king, and he overloaded the black position pretty nicely here with knight to f6. And it doesn't really matter where black steps down here. It's gonna get caught by a landmine. So rook takes is met by queen to g8 mate. Queen takes f6. We can take on h7 with either queen or the rook. We'll take with the rook. And finally, the move made in the game, rook takes h3, which was met by queen g8. Rook takes and rook takes. And the final position is pretty nice. White is down a clear queen, but the checkmate pattern delivers. Let's actually turn this around. This is from a beautiful game played by world champion Vladimir Kramnik was back. Former world champ. Against Boris Gelfand, right? So this is a very high level game. And we're here at the end of a very nice combination by Kramnik. And I think this game can be found in his book, My Best Games. This is getting pretty old now, actually. I remember I had it back in like 2001 or 2 before he became champ, but okay. What was champ 2000? I can't remember. Anyway, doesn't really matter. What matters is the combination. And he played beautiful move, rook takes b2. Now, checkmate is threatened in multiple ways. We're threatening rook takes b1, which is a pure Arabian mate. We're also threatening rook a2 and queen a2. So of course, white has no time to capture the queen on e6 with a knight. He has to take on b2. But this is met with a deadly blow. Black beautifully removes the defender of the of the mate with the queen sacrifice, queen a2. This has to be captured, and now the coast is clear for the mate to be delivered. Rook b1, checkmate. Excellent game, which you should look at in its entirety if you have time. Another example, pretty similar to the last ones by Kramnik and Krasenkov. It should be pretty obvious here. Everything's kind of lined up against the black king. We have the knight on f6, we have the rooks lined up. So, shouldn't be surprising that white has a strong blow here, and Lasker played queen takes g6. Another example from a world champion. Now, of course, rook can't take on g6 because we deliver mate on h7, and knight takes f6. Then we play queen takes g7 mate. Black tried knight takes e5, but now we have a mate very similar to a motive very similar to both the Krasenkov and Kramnik game. Rook takes h7. Only one move, and now the coast is clear. Rook takes g8 and rook takes d8. Checkmate. Here, a more recent example. Here we have Katronios with white, Greek Grandmaster against Francisco Pacuaco in Spain. And Paco played rook to d1 here with a simple threat, rook c1, which is a checkmate. However, white had a trick up his sleeve. First, let's look at the natural move, rook take 2 to d7, trying to stop the mate. Unfortunately, it doesn't accomplish much because white plays knight f6, and there's nothing to be done. Rook takes f7, rook g8 is made. so this doesn't stop anything. And actually the best move is rook to here to stop knight f6. And now the best move is rook takes b7, but if knight f6, then black will take and then pin the rook. So that was the best defense, but he played rook to d1. And now yet another kind of a new twist to this Arabian Mate. We kind of have to win some tempos, lure the king to a square we like, and that is accomplished by rook h7. And Black will resign. There's nothing to be done. He has to take on h7. And then after knight f6 check, we are in pretty familiar territory. Now, I think the tightest definition of the Arabian Mate is the rook on the 7th, rook on g-file, knight on f6, and the black king in the corner. However, we could, I have seen people say that any mate with a rook and a knight combining should be Arabian Mate, but I don't know. I'm gonna call the mate in the corner Arabian Mate, but a mate like this we can call sort of, in the same family, cousin mate or something, great uncle, whatever. So basically, in this position, white to move, there's nothing to be done against the threat of rook g8 checkmate, and if we even look at a position from a game, white actually has a combination here. He played queen takes a8. Black took, and now rook to g8. And again, this powerful combination of the rook and the knight means that there's nothing to be done against the checkmate on g8. Black can try sacrificing his queen, but since we take with check, drop a rook, we have an easy win. And also there are no checks, we just go king g2. You see the knight covers the checking square on e4. And next move is simply rook g8, rook checkmate. So nothing to be done there. Similarly, here we have an amusing example from a game. Black played knight d4. White replied knight takes e4. Black thought, well, I'll take on f3 with check. White sacked his queen. And now probably thought knight d2 or knight g5. When he will, black will emerge a pawn up. He'll get a knight for the queen. However, he didn't factor in knight f6 check, double check. King has to go d8. And now we have, I don't want to call this Arabian Mate, but it's very similar, actually, at rook e8. You can see that the pieces on the c-file kind of resemble the edge of the board. The knight on f6. We can imagine it's on c6 and the black king is on a8, and we have all the same mechanisms of the pieces as in the previous ones. So we can kind of expand the pattern like this, but I would love to call an Arabian Mate only the mate in the corner. But this is sort of, like I said, cousin, great uncle. In the family, at least. Finally, we're gonna end with some examples of this mate. Slightly more complicated and more of a build-up. And for these final examples, I suggest you try to solve them before I tell you a solution. And this one, like the others, white to move and So just pause and come back at your convenience. But I will go straight to the solution, of course. And the solution is queen takes h7. Now, you'll only get full credit if you realize one thing, which I will come to pretty quickly. Black has to take, and no knight f6. First, if black tries rook g7 to protect against the mate, then we will simply double, and doesn't matter what black does. Next move is rook takes h7, followed by our Arabian Mate. So black only has one defense. He has to run away with the king from the corner. Just like this. For this puzzle, you only get full credit for using the checkmate pattern, but realizing that black can get out of it. But it's okay because we have this knight check here, which is the queen back, and therefore white has one apiece to win the game. So knowing the pattern, sometimes you mate, sometimes you use the threat of the mate to win material. Last example, black to move. This is Damjanovic with black against Parma. Again, pause the video and come back. Black won here with rook takes g2. Mate is threatened on h2, so white has to take. Black made a check on g6. King has to go to the corner. If we go here, we have a checkmate, so king h1 is forced. Now rook takes f2. Mate is threatened on g2, as you can see. And it doesn't matter how black tries to defend. He tried rook g1, but after knight f3 he had to resign because of the powerful threat of Arabian Mate on h2, which can't be defended. Another slightly more complicated example is black to move. Material is equal, and with the black pieces, Ratmir Kolmov played queen takes d5 check. White has to take, and now rook takes f2. Our threat is rook f1, which will win the queen back and some material. Note if white tries king g1, and we will play rook g2 check followed by knight f3. In the game, white tried bishop f4, but he resigned after knight f3. At the moment, we're threatening bishop g2 mate, and if white tries to defend against that, let's say knight e3, then we arrive at our Arabian Mate, rook takes f4, and rook takes h2 can't be stopped. Checkmate like this. Our final example, it's Ruben fine with the white pieces. And here he found a nice combination. He played the move, knight takes f6. Now, we're not going to analyze alternatives. King takes f6, knight e4. We're simply going to arrive at our pattern position. King g7, and white played rook c2, threatening the queen, and black played his queen to a4. Keeping an eye on the c2 rook, because if he goes here, then queen takes g5, we'll pick up the rook. So he kept an eye on the rook. Now queen takes g5. The bishop interposed. Rook c7 check. king went to g8. And, well, if you couldn't solve this puzzle, by far the most difficult, then at this point you should be able to solve it. So white to move. And, well, if you can't find it, then you haven't been paying much attention. White played queen takes g6. Why did he do that? Because he's removing defender of h7. And after pawn takes, then everything is set up and ready for our current mating pattern. Arabian Mate, delivered by Ahmed, well, delivered by Ruben Fine. So this was our last example. Arabian Mate, the oldest known mating pattern. Hope you enjoyed, and surely you will not miss an opportunity to use this powerful mating pattern in your games. And okay, I hope to see you soon with some more mating patterns as we continue to equip you with the weapons to move on in your chess career. See you later. Bye bye.